Hey everybody, it's Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon. Yes, I am a carnivore. No, I am not an actual curmudgeon mostly. But today I wanted to share with you a recipe that I only get to eat a couple of times a year because there are only so many of these per animal. And in my case today, I'm going to be making a venison heart or hearts. I have two of them. 2 venison kidney sets, so 4 kidneys. And 2 special little nuggets of surprise that will also be frying up. Sometimes these things just get overlooked, I think, to the detriment of the person who is harvesting the deer because they are underappreciated, but they are nutritious. They're not hard to process and prepare for eating, and they're most definitely delicious in my book. As a matter of fact, a shout out to a friend of mine who maybe was a little bit squeamish about trying it, but came over with her son while I grilled deer heart last year. Both of them took a bite and told me that they would not have known it was not filet mignon if I would not have told them it was deer heart. So it can sure be terrific, and I thought I'd share the recipe with you. Let's go see what we can get into. This is 2 deer heart and 2 sets of kidneys and 2 Bucksticles that I harvested in 2020. Time to get them out of the freezer and eat them. And we're going to marinate them first. This is a super simple marinade, and all it's going to be, I'm not even going to measure it, but I'll tell you what it consists of. I am going to measure the spices. It's 4 tablespoons of olive oil. The better olive oil you have, the better it's going to taste. 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire. We call it Dubshire here. It eliminates the need to figure out exactly how you're supposed to say it. Worcestershire, Worcestershire. Where's your sister? We just call it Dubshire. And 1 teaspoon black pepper. 1 teaspoon of oregano. 1 teaspoon of thyme. Oh look, if I could put thyme in a bottle, it would look like that. And 1 teaspoon of salt. That's all there is to this marinade. And I put this marinade on, always on my venison hearts, but I put it on pork chops. It really pairs well with pork chops for some reason. So whenever I marinate meat, which is rare, this is my go-to marinade. Gonna give it a good stir. Now for these deer hearts, I'm just gonna trim off all of this fat. Everything that's white along here, I'm just gonna trim it right off because it's tough, it does not taste good, and there's just nothing you can do to salvage it. These are a couple of small deer hearts. And as you can imagine, they came out of a couple of small deer. Now, on the heart, you see how it's got that line right there. You can just follow along that line when you cut it. We're just going to open it and fold back these different sections, sort of opening it like a book, and then I'll trim to flatten them out so that I have pretty much equal thickness of the little steaks. And I'm making sure to remove the little spider veins of it as I go. This is where that heart separates, so I'm going to separate it right along its natural line. There's lots of videos on how to do this. This is just how I do it. And basically I learned from watching other people and other videos as well. So there's one heart. In fact, I'm going to cut that into 2 pieces. And rinse and repeat. And there is my dear heart. These are my dear kidneys. Now I've already taken, there's an outer sac, an outer pouch that encase these kidneys, and I took that off before I put them in the freezer. So all I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to slice it in half. Kidneys, if you've never had them, venison kidneys anyway, are a little minerally. They're not as strong as liver, but they're not as mild as heart. And whenever I can, I always keep them when harvesting a deer. And the last thing is these little guys right here. Call them what you want: Rocky Mountain oysters, nards, onions, cherries, balls, testicles. It's all the same thing. I'm going to fry those in a little butter, not even going to bother trying to take the skin off because it will burst as it fries. And it's only 2 little bites, but it tastes a little kind of bacony. And since I like to use as much of the animal as I can, these guys are going in. So, into a Ziploc bag go our hearts, our kidneys, and the testicles. Here's our marinade right on top. I'm gonna be as easy as I can with it, but squeeze as much of the air out as I can. And that's going into the refrigerator in a bowl in case it leaks for the next 2 to 24 hours. And 24 hours later, it's time to get them out and put them on the countertop and let them sort of come up to room temperature for about an hour. And once it's up to room temperature, here's what it looks like. We've got our heart, our kidneys, and our Bucksticles. And we're going to put the heart on a grill, but we're just going to go to the stove top and cook the testicles and the kidneys in a little bit of bacon fat. Gives them just a little bit of flavor, and it's a good fat to cook with. But mainly I'm concerned if I put the kidneys and the testicles on the grill, they're just going to fall through the grill grate. And they're so tender and they're so small. This is a very quick fry. So these are only going to go on for about 1.5 minutes to maybe the maximum 2 minutes per side, flipping once in the middle of the cook. And once they're done, we just pop them out of the pan and onto a plate to await the reunion of the kidneys and the Bucksticles with the hearts. And for those hearts, I'm just going to get my grill up to about 400 degrees, just like you would a steak. But this is also a very quick cook, only about 2 to at the most 3 minutes per side, and I would go with the 2 more than I would the 3. It's such a tender piece of meat. It's marinated beautifully. All it needs to do is be warmed through. We actually want this pretty pink in the middle for maximum flavor. Kind of a good rule of thumb is once you've got a little bit of grill mark on either side, they're pretty much done. It's that quick. Now it's time to go inside and give these things a try. We're going to start with that kidney. You can see it resembles a piece of liver. It is less minerally, as I said before, but it is very tasty. Okay, next we're going in on this heart. And you know, when you cut this open and you see the beautiful grill marks on the outside and that pink, rare meat on the inside and that buttery taste, it just so much reminds me of filet mignon. Maybe just the slightest bit different. And you know, in my last video, my wife said that I didn't really convince her that my dish was tasty because I didn't look like it was super tasty. So here's my version of super tasty, complete with a little happy dance. And that's my version of a happy dance and all you're gonna get because I'm not a happy dance kind of person. And now it's time for our Bucksticles. Yeah, they're tiny, so watch close because it goes by fast. But they were a delicious 2-bite taste. And that's what I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you ever get a chance, give it a try yourself. There are so many underappreciated parts of good animal meat. You might surprise yourself on how much you enjoy as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.